Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. It is Monday, December 18th, and Joe Biden, good old Joey, is still the worst president in American history. I hope all of you had a lovely weekend. It is the holiday season, a time for popcorn, family, Christmas tree, presents, movies, which leads me to the question of the day. What is your favorite Christmas movie? During this time of year, me and my family would always gather around the television and watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase. It is always a shoo-in. I still have to watch it a couple times during the holiday season. But my favorite Christmas movie is Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I am curious, what is your favorite Christmas movie? But also, was there a movie for you and your family that you guys kind of gathered around the television like my family did and watched each and every holiday season? Let us know in the comment section below. With that being said, our lead story of the day is kind of a crazy one because our president was almost hit by another car, and we got video of this. Video shows the moment Secret Service secures Biden as car plows into president's motorcade near campaign headquarters. Like I mentioned, a car slammed into a parked SUV that was part of President Joe Biden's motorcade. The eye-opening situation occurred near Biden's campaign headquarters in Delaware, and we got the video here to show all of it to you. Folks, it is wild, and just watch how nobody seems to move quickly on this. Let's roll it.
Out of breaking news, a car crashes into President Biden's motorcade in Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah, we know it happened as the president was leaving his campaign headquarters. Take a look.
Mr. President, why are you losing to Trump in the polls?
Well, you see it there. President Biden was quickly ushered into that beast SUV. SWAT officers were on scene and police were seen talking to the driver. He was inside his car with his hands up. It's unclear what caused that crash and whether it was an accident or intentional. But as you can see, it was raining at that time. The streets were soaked. This is a breaking story. Once we get more information, we will update you.
The streets were soaked? I don't think so, man. And by the way, I don't think that was just kind of like SWAT guys there in the military uniforms. It might have been, but folks, watch the reaction from the Secret Service. I mean, talk about taking your sweet ass time to get the president inside the motorcade. Watch this again. Wrong poles. Boom, car hits. Bunch of screechings happening. And look at, they're just like, oh, what's going on? And walking. I mean, it is not even a brisk walk. It was just,
well, you see,
and he takes his time getting in.
President Biden was quickly
I mean, look, you can't shove the president in that quick because we've all seen how Joe Biden moves. If anything, you might kill the guy by trying to just get him into the motorcade. But it's amazing how, look, I'm not a fan of Joe Biden, but I don't wish the man any ill will. And it makes you wonder, where's all the Secret Service at? You're letting a guy plow into one of our motorcades? I mean, that's how close people are able to get to our president. Kind of worries me a little bit here, but that's kind of breaking news from late last night around 8:09 p.m. A Secret Service vehicle securing the president's motorcade route was struck by another vehicle in Wilmington, Delaware. There was no protective interest associated with this event, and the president's motorcade departed without incident. So that's kind of the breaking news that happened late last night. And in other news, we also have here Vivek Ramaswamy slamming mainstream media once again, telling Van Jones to shut the F up. We got video of it, folks, and it is freaking glorious. Ramaswamy appeared at a Turning Point USA America's Fest 2023, which is a 4-day event featuring popular conservative figures speaking to young Republicans on the political climate and issues of today. And during his speech at the event, the Republican presidential candidate could be heard at first demanding that the government tell the truth again in the United States, emphasizing that the American people can handle the truth. I absolutely do agree with that, but here's him going off on Van Jones here, and it's glorious. Let's roll it.
We demand a government that tells us the truth again in this country. That's what we require. We can handle the truth. That's what it means to be a citizen of this country. So I say that on that last debate stage to a bunch of Republicans that are shaking in their boots. These are the things you're not supposed to say in the Republican Party even today. And then you get the mainstream media. You got this character, Van Jones, on CNN afterwards saying, this is the rise of an American demagogue who's going to live 50 years longer than Trump. This is dangerous. I am shaking. That's what he says. Just shut the fuck up. At a certain point, just shut the fuck up. Van Jones at CNN.
Hey, folks, can we get a cheers to that, huh? Can we get a cheers to Vivek right there? Just laying down the law, baby. Telling the truth, telling it like it is. I'm not going to repeat his words because YouTube kind of hates me right now. But look, he said it as clear as day. I apologize if you got kids in the car. But cheers, Vivek. We love that kind of language coming from you, brother. Following the fourth GOP debate in early December, Jones had commented during a CNN panel on Ramaswamy's performance, stating that he had been shaking while watching the debate. You got to be kidding me. I mean, these lefties, man. These progressives are such snowflakes. I'm shaking. Oh, God, there's so much bad. Like, shut up. I mean, honestly, Vivek was right. Just shut up. Whiny baby. The CNN analyst warned that Ramaswamy was not only dangerous, oh, here we go again, they're a threat to democracy, they're a threat to our institutions, but that he was one step away from Nazi propaganda coming out of his mouth, the outlet reported. So here we go. I mean, it just goes to show you guys, it has nothing to do with the color of your skin, just the fact that you're Republican or conservative. They're just going to call you a Nazi, a racist, a sexist, a xenophobe, a bigot, whatever it's going to be. Like, literally, regardless at this point, it's so insane that he's going to sit there and say that he's one step away from a Nazi propaganda. It's ridiculous. And I'm glad that Vivek said what he needed to say. Because if you're going to have people that are spouting, you're watching the rise of an American demagogue that is very, very despicable person. And literally, I was shaking listening to him talk because a lot of people don't know. That is one step away from Nazi propaganda coming out of his mouth. I mean, Jones, you should just shut up. I'm not saying I want to limit your speech, but if you're going to say stupid, idiotic stuff on air and people are going to be soaking that in, yeah, then you shut up, man. It's outrageous, the media and what they're already doing across all platforms. It's wild. I know I'm preaching to the choir. I know you guys get it, but you got to understand the Democrats and the progressive left hate you. Like, they really don't like you. And I know that you know that, but don't let that stop you from speaking your mind and saying what you wanted to say, because you know who was like that? I was like that. That's why we didn't do a show for a lot of years, because I was too scared. I was worried, what would people think of me? What would they say about me? You know, screw it. They're not going to like me anyways because I'm conservative. They're not going to like me because I'm registered Republican. They're not going to like me because I'm white, right? They're going to call me all those names, even though I'm none of those things. And the second that we sit there and come to terms with that, you're going to be a lot more free person, and you're just going to say whatever the hell you want to say, like Vivek's doing here, like Trump's been doing. And that's why we need Mr. 45 back in office to be number 47, because of the damage that the Democrat Party and the progressive left are doing to this country. And they have the media in their back pocket doing their bidding left and right, constantly going after Trump, going after Vivek, going after DeSantis, going after Tim Scott, going after Nikki Haley. I mean, whoever it is, they're going after every conservative Republican, and they will not stop, you guys. They will not stop, and be ready for this stuff to ramp up here big time, from censorship to the name calling, to be called a racist, a sexist bigot, all that stuff. And it's going to impact our channel here. So I hope that we can have your support going into 2024, because it's going to be wild, baby. It's going to be an insane year. But look, this is a home. This is a home right here. The Bald Brad channel is a home for American patriots, whether you're a vet, even an American citizen, or you're an immigrant here that's looking for the American dream. We want you to be a part of our channel. We want you to be part of our community, because we are a community of people that love this country, and there's no better place to live than the United States of America, baby. Get a salute out there. Well, look, I said immigrants. Not everybody sits here and follows the rule. But you got Lindsey Graham coming out and saying here, Biden's border crisis has me more worried about a 9/11 attack than ever before. And it's not just coming from Lindsey Graham. I mean, you're hearing this actually from Democrats as well, top Democrats, which we'll just get there in one moment here. But you're hearing it from Christopher Wray. You're actually starting to hear echoes of this slightly from DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. So if you have people coming out saying, look, a 9/11 attack might happen here, that makes me wonder, is there some sort of intelligence taking place that we're not hearing about as the American people, because the media wants to hide it from us, as well as our own Congress, our own government? of the potential of this actually taking place? Like, are you hearing whispers of this stuff? We got Lindsey Graham here said during an interview over the weekend that the conditions on the U.S. southern border have him more worried about the potential for terrorist attacks similar to 9/11 happening on U.S. soil than at any other point since the attacks happened more than 2 decades ago. Who's to blame for this? Because I guarantee you they're going to blame Donald Trump. And how can I make that guarantee? Because they're already blaming the GOP. Karine Jean-Pierre's messaging on that White House podium, every time she's asked this type of question, and there was pushback and has been pushback from Ed O'Keefe to Peter Doocy to Philip Wegman to Jackie Heinrich of Fox News, there are reporters that are pushing back, but she's blaming the GOP for what's taking place at the southern border. Let that one sink in. And she's getting away with it. There's not enough pushback from reporters. Everybody needs to sit there and bandwagon in that room and go against this Biden administration for the lies that they're telling, but they won't do it. They won't do it. At least there is some people in there that want to be reporters. Like I said, Philip Wegman, Peter Doocy, Ed O'Keefe every now and then. Also, sometimes Peter Alexander as well. But you got Jackie Heinrich, the Wonder Woman in there. There's certain people in there that are doing yeoman's work, but you have this crap taking place at the southern border. And I've always said, you guys know this, is that it's probably not going to happen under the Biden administration. It's probably going to happen under the Trump administration. And then the media are going to use that as a cudgel, as a hammer to go after Trump, going, oh, look he wasn't securing our borders. We said this would happen. This is all Trump's fault, even though this is stuff that happened many years ago under the Biden administration now, allowing tens of millions of people to pour across the border. And now we have this ish to handle here, to the point where you got the FBI director coming out, along with Graham, saying, hey, you know what? A possibility of another 9/11 is very much in the cards. Graham made the statement during a Sunday interview with Kristen Welker, who used to be another White House correspondent, but recently is on NBC's Meet the Press, while discussing U.S. Senate negotiations with the White House on a border package. It floors me, you guys, and I know you guys as well. You guys have the same issue that I do with the idea of, well, let's send other countries billions of dollars, millions of dollars, without fixing our own crap here. Why are we always taking care of everybody else? We're $34 trillion in debt. It would be another story, slightly another story, if, we had a surplus and we got money to go around. We don't have money to go around. We are taking out money to end up paying people back somewhat, but also just to be able to take out more credit, like increasing the ceiling, going, hey, we don't have enough money. We got to take out more credit. We got to borrow more money from other countries as well as our citizens and print money to pay for whatever. And we're going to send money to Ukraine, Israel, Iran's getting $6 billion. I mean, it's just billions and hundreds of billions of dollars just going out the window. We can't even worry about ourselves. Our roads suck. Our infrastructure sucks. Our electric grid sucks. Everybody's worried about a possible EMP going off in the air from China, which would kill like millions. I'm talking tens and tens of millions of Americans in the span of like 3 months. If you haven't looked at that, there's a high degree of possibility that something like that could happen with the next 50 years from the Chinese launching a nuclear warhead over our airspace and completely dropping an EMP on us. And at that point, America's donezo. They ran the studies on it. You're talking tens of millions of people dying from starvation in America because America is not prepared for something like that. All this stuff is a possibility, but rather than figuring our own ish out here, our politicians would rather send hundreds of billions of dollars to other places rather than sending it to us or giving it to us to sit there and figure out our own ish here on our soil. Graham said that he did not believe a deal would be reached by the end of the year and that he expects talks to continue into the new year. And if you recall, Karine Jean-Pierre, during last week's White House press briefing, ripped into Republicans for going on vacation for the holiday season, even though this happens every year. And I do agree that we shouldn't be going on a holiday season when we haven't figured out anything like our budget and other stuff. I do agree with her on that kind of whole hierarchy or in terms of holistic viewpoint. But what I don't agree with is her ripping the GOP. But then when you had Ed O'Keefe sitting there in the White House press briefing room and saying, hey, if you're going to rip on Republicans for going on a holiday vacation, is Joe Biden planning on sticking around and figuring this ish out for himself? Oh, well, we don't have anything on his schedule. I mean, I don't think the president's going to be sticking around. You just kind of see that scumminess, that swampiness coming from her, where, oh, well, they should do something, but we're not going to follow suit and do it. Joe Biden's been on vacation 40% of his presidency. It's actually higher than that. 40%. And that's what we know about. That 40%, you guys, is him just not being in the White House. Can you imagine if you actually clocked in this dude's nap time that he gets each and every day? We heard rumors again that White House staff were having troubles to get him out of bed starting at 9 a.m. and they would put him back to sleep at 4. And so what they did was they moved it. They gave him an extra hour of sleep, so they moved it to 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that still wasn't enough. So now they had to literally get him out of bed at noon to 4 p.m. I mean, yeah, that fluctuates, but the fixed schedule is pretty much noon to 4. The guy's getting plenty of sleep. I mean, we've all seen the strap of the CPAP machine on his face because the guy's sleeping. And he literally gets a suit on, whoever's dressing the guy, and they chauffeur him out. He does a little speaking engagement and speaking, and I'm using that loosely, and then he goes back to bed. He goes back to bed. Nothing resolved, nothing done. Quote, the White House got engaged 5 days ago, he said. They sent over a supplemental with border security provisions that did nothing to change the policy. Of course they didn't. Of course they didn't. We saw what they were trying to do before, where they're like, oh, well, we passed this huge spending bill. Folks, the spending bill they did before, meaning the Biden administration, was to help with transportation on taking illegal immigrants from the border into the interior of the country or taking them from one sector of the border to the other because there wasn't enough room from one sector. So they would literally fly you, train you, or bus you into the interior of the country, order a different sector in the border because there was no room. That's how many people are pouring across the border. So it wasn't actually solving the problem. If anything, it was just kind of a band-aid of the problem to just shuffle people around. It was moving around puzzle pieces without, again, solving the damn issue. We've been talking to them since September. 5 days ago, they finally sat at the table. The bottom line here is we feel like we're being jammed. We're not anywhere close to a deal. It'll go into next year. It is wild. It is wild how bad the border's gotten. I mean, look at this next paragraph right here. Graham said that it was important to fix the border after the testimony from FBI Director Christopher Wray earlier this month, who warned that there were blinking lights everywhere in terms of warning signs that a terrorist attack could be about to happen due to terrorist ability to exploit the southern border. Jesus Christ. But you know what? It's Republicans' fault, you guys, not the Democrats' fault at all. I mean, all this stuff took place under Joe Biden, and they don't want to do anything about it. Quote, the border has been obliterated since January 21. Until now, Graham said, we've had 6 million people come to date. It's more than 6 million, by the way. There are 3.6 million on schedule to come this year alone. The policy choices of the Biden administration have made the border dangerous to come America under threat. According to the FBI director, since October the 7th, jihadist groups want to attack us because we are helping Israel. But they don't want to do anything about this. They don't want to do anything at all. Some Democrats do. But, you know, finally we get some impeachment going on here. Possible impeachment from GOP chairman laying out plan for Mayorkas impeachment articles. I mean, this is so far overdue, it's head spinning. A top House Republican mapped out on Sunday how lawmakers plan to proceed with articles of impeachment early next year against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. The knucklehead, this guy goes, the borders, Brett. The borders, the magnets, Brett, the magnets. Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas relating to his handling of the border crisis. Not just his handling. The outright lies this guy has told the American people. The outright lies this guy has told the Congress. And it's not one of those things where we're just saying, oh, well, outright lies. We've seen video upon video of this guy lying to Jim Jordan, this guy lying to during various interviews to Congress about, oh, well, the border's secure. Hey, well, if the border's secure, why do you have all these millions of people? Well, we don't have millions of people. We just have hundreds of thousands of people. Sir, what about the massive fentanyl? Well, actually, we're apprehending a lot of drug cartel. We're hitting records of how much fentanyl we've actually secured. Well, yeah, you're securing more fentanyl because you have more people pouring across the border, knucklehead. He said the same thing of like, well, we're breaking records on deportations. Yeah, because you've never had this many people come in the country in the first place. Of course you're going to break records. The guy's a liar. Homeland Security Chairman Mark Green told Fox News anchor on Sunday Morning Futures that his panel is poised to hold a series of hearings when Congress returns from the end of the year holiday break. What good is this? The guy should have been fired years ago. Mayorkas needs to go, Green said, adding, he's a derelict in his duty. He's broken the laws of the United States that have passed Congress. He's lied to, there you go, he's lied to Congress. Perfect. Exactly. At least it seems like this guy, Mark Green, had his head on straight. I don't know why the GOP's like putting up with this crap, honestly. This should be such a talking point on every single damn thing. From the Biden administration lying, from Biden himself, to Kamala Harris lying, to Karine Jean-Pierre lying, to Jake Sullivan lying, to John Kirby every now and then lying he's not as bad as a lot of people in the administration, to Alejandro Mayorkas lying. I've never seen an American like administration lie like this. Folks, did Donald Trump's administration lie? Yes, we have to be honest. Yes, he did. There's levels of lying, though. Like, there's a hierarchy to the lies that are taking place. This administration takes the cake. This might be more than Obama, and that's saying a lot. I mean, Obama was like a renowned liar. There's entire books about how he lied about stuff. I mean, the guy said, oh, well, I don't have any emails about me going after conservatives and the Fast and Furious cases and the ATF and all that stuff. Dude, we've seen the emails with your Attorney General Eric Holder, your right-hand man, your wingman is what you call them. Like, what do you mean? So, look, every politician lies. I don't trust politicians whatsoever. But the Democrats seem to do it way more than Republicans. Again, way more than Republicans, but Democrats will disagree with that. Of course they will. So, dereliction of duty. You have the same thing being spoken of about Biden. Dereliction of duty. Doesn't want to do his damn job. And the chairman emphasized how his committee has been taking wow, I can't even speak. I sound like Joe Biden. A methodical approach to its investigation, which was announced in early June, according to a balancing act deal with some GOP members who want regular order. So we'll see what comes of that happening at the border. But there are some Democrats, it looks like here, that want to get into the mix here and basically are saying, you know, the border must be shut down. We got to figure this out because we're sold out. We're out of capacity. Things are going south right now. What I really think is taking place is, hey, we hit our quota. Let's shut it down now. Everybody's in that we need for now. Looking good. So Senator Joe Manchin expressed during an interview over the weekend about the continually worsening conditions on the U.S. southern border, saying the U.S. lawmakers were getting closer to passing new laws that stop a significant chunk of illegal immigration. This was also echoed during last week's White House press briefing, basically of going like, hey, you know, you said that Donald Trump's policies at the border were so terrible, so bad, but basically the policies that you want to enact now at the border are even worse than Trump's. So how does that work out with your messaging that you took place for 4 years during the Trump administration, but now when you guys have control of the executive branch of the White House, all of a sudden it's fine and dandy that you're implementing policies that are worse than Trump's. So explain that one to me. Oh, well, this is her response. Hand to God. Well, it's an ongoing negotiations, and I'm just not going to negotiate from the podium. That was her response. There's never an answer from this woman. There's never an answer from this White House whatsoever. And Democrats are totally cool with it. They gave Trump so much crap for so many years. Going, oh, well, Kayleigh McEnany sucks. Look at her. She's not answering any questions. Look at Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Oh, look at her. Not answering any questions. They just won't take anybody's questions. They took everybody's questions. You want who doesn't take questions? Karine Jean-Pierre. That's why Simon Atebe hasn't had a question in. He hasn't got a single damn question in over a freaking year. People think I'm joking when I say that. That dude sits in every White House press briefing, hasn't got a single damn question. An African-American dude not being able to get a question in from the White House. I'll tell you what, if Donald Trump did that, he'd be labeled a freaking racist. But Joe Biden does it, the Democrats, all of a sudden it's fine. It's fine and dandy. Nothing to see here. A little bit of a rant from me, but it's frustrating as hell that we're having to deal with this bull crap. 10 million people? Really? 300 terrorists that we know of have been apprehended at the border that we know of? And I've always said this, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. I mean, somebody's going to just blow you up. They don't give a shit who you are. They look at you as an American. Really, Democrats are Americans. They're going to blow you up, shoot you, kill you. I don't know what it is. A dirty bomb, poison our water supply, whatever it may be. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. But why are we not taking this seriously? You want to know why? Because people don't wake up. They've lived in peace and harmony for so freaking long here in this country. They think that they're untouchable until they aren't. And I also get that from just the type of handling, the messaging that's being done with Israel and Gaza. Oh, you're killing civilians. No shit, it's war. That's our problem. We've watered down history so much in the education system because we're so worried about, oh my God, you told little Johnny that somebody was beheaded or whatever. Yeah, welcome to war, where people were scalped. Their ears were cut off and worn as necklaces. Their teeth was worn as earrings. Welcome to freaking war. It's disgusting. It's terrible. It's wrong. But for you to be like, well, you know, God, they're killing civilians. No shit. Like, as if there's no casualty. We've lived in harmony. We've lived in peace, and we have not lived in reality, or at least seen it for a long time. And so when reality hits you right in the face, oh my God, this is so atrocious. War crimes. You try to just like rationalize with people. Nobody wants to see civilians killed. No duh. But what do you expect from war? It's war. Maybe, you know what we need to do is just start showing war footage, like actual people with taking a freaking butter knife and cutting some dude's head off and showing people the real horrors that Hamas and other people are doing. Going back from even the Iraq war back in 2000. Hell, throw the Gulf War in there from the 90s. And throw World War II in there. Pulling people's teeth out of their head, right? Taking their genitals and stuffing it in some dude's mouth. Like people don't get this stuff because they don't read, they don't watch movies, like the real stuff, right? Not these Hollywood films, but actual war stuff. And waking up to the reality of what bleep actually looks like. Looking at the border, seeing the images of the people standing in line, the thousands of people, also happen to be military-aged male. Listen to their interviews. They're not coming here to seek asylum. They're not coming here for persecution. They're coming here, they said it themselves, they're coming here for a better life, which, hey, I get it. But they go, oh, we're just looking for work. So they're not coming here for persecution. They're not coming here because of asylum. They're coming here for better work. That's not asylum. That's not persecution. And we keep saying this. And then Joe Biden sits there and just lets them into the interior of the country. It's been stated. We've also seen footage of it. And just lets them walk along. So we live in this fictitious world, and people can't grasp concepts easily. I'm not saying there's a black and white answer to all this stuff, but they can't formulate it, you guys. There's like some roadblock that they can't sit there and make sense of it. I know you guys can. I'm not talking about you guys. You guys get it. You guys get it. You're American patriots. You understand. But there's a portion of the country here, these progressive leftists, that can't, I don't know what it is. I don't know if somebody like kicked them in the face when they were a kid and like their brain got scrambled or what, but somehow they just can't make connections, man. It's freaking crazy. I'm able to see both sides, right? I can understand both perspectives. And at the end of the day, I got to choose one. It's not easy to choose one, but at least I understand both perspectives. The progressive left don't understand our side, you guys. They don't understand a damn thing about conservatives or Republicans. Why? Because they've never talked to one in actuality. They never sat down and had a real conversation with a conservative Republican. We understand their viewpoint better than they understand ours. Why? Media is leftist. The education system's leftist. The government sometimes is leftist. I mean, hell, the localities, depending on the state we're at, is leftist. The state itself is leftist. I mean, every institution is pretty much ran by the left. We grew up in it as Republicans and conservatives, hence why we know their irrational behavior and their illogic solutions that don't make any sense. We understand where they're coming from. They don't understand us, which is why we get situations like this at the border, because they don't know how to fix anything. They just know how to make things worse. Prove me wrong. A little bit of a rant, huh? Woo! Here we go. Let's get a sip of coffee. What are you guys drinking this morning? What is that? What are you guys drinking? That tea, coffee, Bailey's? Who's drinking already? Who's drinking? It's 7-ish, 7:21-ish, something in the morning. What are you doing? It's good coffee. Folks, if you didn't know, hit that like and subscribe button down there if you're having fun with us. This is a home for patriots here. We also have a website, baldbrad.com. We got a book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. Here, let's check it out. I got it right here. I don't want to make a mess on my table here. We got a book right here, written by yours truly. Oh, God, it's so beautiful. Some of you asked if I'm really bald. Folks, where's that image? Hold on. That's a bald. That's a bald dude right there. I am bald, folks. It's real. It's real. There's no hair on this head. And also, if you joined us on Supernatural Saturdays yesterday, was it yesterday? No, 2 days ago on Saturday. I got scared so bad, I blew my headset and hat off and fell out of my chair into this, like, I have like a sofa, like, beanbag thing here. And I fell into it. So if you haven't seen Supernatural Saturdays, go check that out. We have a lot of fun. But baldbrad.com, a lot of merch. You can get yourself a mug for the holidays. Folks, if you didn't know, there is an American flag on the back. We're patriots here. We're patriots. Come on. Of course there's a flag on it. Go on, baby. Well, that's what's going on at the border. Just a bunch of shenanigans taking place. Nothing's being done. But at least there's some Democrats speaking up about this, which we need. Look, we need Democrats to turn the tide here somewhat and wake up to what the hell's going on. Moving into our next segment of the day, NBC News frames Senate sex tape video as conservative news outlets pushing the story. So if you didn't hear, I can't believe this is even a story. There was an NBC News that came under fire on social media over a ridiculous headline that seemed to fault conservative, news outlets for reporting that a Democrat Senate staffer filmed a gay sex video in a Capitol Hill hearing room. I've always said, like, we're such, like, somebody stepped on the butterfly and things flipped upside down. Like, we're in some alternate universe where, like, this can't be real. The sad thing is like, remember how when Trump was running, oh, well, you know, that he peed on like some Russian prostitute or escort or something like that. Like there's some pee-pee hoax thing. It wasn't even real whatsoever. It was literally fabricated. In the same way, Russian collusion was actually fabricated, where the FBI and other outlets, meaning government institutions, allegedly paid for an informant to say those types of things. Like it was literally just hearsay. Like one guy just said it, and the entire media and the government just ran with it because they're basically idiots. Well, this is real. Like it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, somebody just hearsay, like came up with it, pulled it out of their ass, was like, here you go. Like there's an actual video. There's pictures of this stuff. I'm not showing you guys. It's disgusting. The report came after the Daily Caller published an amateur pornographic video, there you go, Friday that showed an alleged congressional staffer engaging in sex with another man in Hart Senate Office Building, room 216. Probably waving the pride flag like we always see, desecrating freaking the Senate Office Building now in the same way Bill Clinton desecrated the freaking Oval Office, getting a freaking blowjob by what's-her-face. According to the Daily Caller, the video was leaked after being shared in a private group for gay men in politics. Now, you know what's amazing here? Just the hypocrisy of it all. Remember how they're like, oh, Donald Trump's going to be a desecration. He's going to be such a bad image for the Oval Office of the White House. How could such a man ever set foot in there? Really? Bill Clinton does his shenanigans in the Oval Office? You have gay men, I suppose. You can't label people anymore, right? We don't know if they're male or female. We don't know because now it's just all interchangeable. Having gay sex in a Senate office building and recording it. But you're going to sit there and talk about Donald Trump? Really? A little bit of hypocrisy, if I may say so myself. Posts on social media claim the alleged slapper worked for Senator Ben Cardin. Hours after the story broke, Cardin's office announced that a legislative aide had been dismissed, but did not explicitly link the staffer or his dismal to the sex tape. The identities of the men in extremely graphic video have not been confirmed by Fox News. So I wanted to hit you guys with that because what they're doing now is they're blaming conservative outlets for talking about this. Oh, guys, if you're going, what the hell? Yes, I know, trust me. I'm right there with you. What the hell? They're going to blame us for running the story that was created by the Democrats in the first place because they did something they shouldn't be doing. So NBC's framing of this outrageous and belongs in the Media Bias Hall of Fame. A Democrat senator staffer videotaped himself having sex in a Senate committee room, shared it online with others, and got fired when it became public. But NBC cast conservatives as the bad guys. Trump's 2020 campaign communication staffer, Director Tim, said here on, I guess it's X now, but Twitter. You also have a South Carolina Republican, Ralph Norman, joked, right, those pesky conservative news outlets are the real problem here. Insane. It's so insane how they just, it's like I said, Karine Jean-Pierre going after Republicans for what's taking place at the border. It's so outlandish. Quote, it's conservative news outlets' fault. Ridiculous headline. NBC News is working for the Democrats. Oh, yeah, they are. Former U.S. Ambassador to Germany, Richard Greenell, wrote. Oh, yeah, I mean, the media is such in the hands of the pocket and have been for quite some time. Why? Because it's the Democrats that run those institutions. It's the Democrats that run media. It's the Democrats that run the news. And that's why you have, basically, Fox News is one of the most mainstream ones. That's really it. You have the Daily Caller out there now, and obviously the Daily Wire and Blaze Media kind of filling in a void. But they're nowhere to scale of like NBC, ABC, and all these other outlets that have been around for decades and decades. Political comedian Tim Young agreed. So it was the conservative outlet's fault that the guy filmed gay sex in a Senate hearing room. It's always our fault. It's our fault for anything. NBC News is run by clowns. Yeah, they're called the Democrat Party and the progressive left. Conservatives didn't video him. He did. And posted it online. Comes from another conservative. Quote, I don't know his own social media was a conservative news outlet. And not wrong. Conservative writer Charles C.W. Cook summarized the media cannot escape this formulation. It is constitutionally incapable of seeing what it does or why. That's kind of going back to what I said before, where they're just incapable of certain rationale in their mind. And if they have any sort of rationale, it's a rationale that's filled with bias that's ultimately going to lead them to a rationale of confirming whatever bias they may have and the narrative of which they want to push. They're not able to look at both perspectives and come to a rational understanding. I'm not saying every conservative Republican isn't either. I mean, I'm sure there's conservative Republicans out there that aren't able to understand the other side's perspective. But I mean, everybody's going to come to that rationale sooner or later because there's a lot of things that both sides say that are just honestly irrational. Even coming from a conservative Republican, we have said things in the past that are completely irrational that we shouldn't have done. Well, in our last segment here of the day, you have disgusting photo of John Travolta's home sparks outrage online. It's absolutely ridiculous. Folks, this image here, this image of John Travolta's home, for those that are on audio, there's literally like an airstrip. He has a massive Boeing plane hooked up to his to his house. And he also has, looks like a private plane. And the left are losing it over this image that has been out for a while. Like Vivek said, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Who cares? So an aerial view of what one Redditor identified and confirmed as John Travolta's house provoked intense reactions from commentators this August. The video appeared in r/anti-consumption, a subreddit whose tagline is simply "Consumerism kills." The community is dedicated to finding ways to buy less, reduce waste, and minimize members' impact on the planet. You know, I guarantee you guys, if you looked up the members of this community, they're wearing shirts that probably come from some sort of oil or fossil fuel that made the shirt. You know, it's such bullcrap, these people. They sit there and act like they're holier than thou. Oh, we're trying to make an impact on the economy. Why don't, instead of you ripping on John Travolta's house, why don't you talk to China? Why don't you talk to India? Why don't you talk to the massive 42 million tires that are being burned in the Middle East? Why don't you go talk to those countries? Why don't you go over there and speak your issue to them and let me know what happens? Because I guarantee you they ain't going to put up with your shit in your mouth. We are here because you have a right to freedom of speech. I reserve your right. I want you to be able to speak out these things. You're an idiot for doing so. But I'll tell you what, you go to the other countries to try to pull this crap, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work whatsoever. And the thing is, they know it. They know it. When a user showed how the most powerful members of society live, the responses were predictable. Quote, an aerial view of John Travolta's house in Florida with parking space for his Bombardier Challenger, a vintage 707, was the caption on the post, which is supported by other reports about his collection. In the photo, Travolta's mansion was visibly invisible, sprawling across acres of open lawn, oh God forbid, while a long, winding driveway led to the massive parking lot in front of the house. It was dwarfed by the tarmac in the back, with two jet planes stood partially undercovered ports, forgive me. The swimming pool on the back of the house and the tennis court tucked into a tree-lined corner of the property were almost afterthoughts. Quote, it's like he doesn't even care about tennis, one Redditor joked, while another had no time for jokes, simply called it disgusting. Oh, it's just irreprehensible. It's just terrible that he would have a house like this. The guy would work his ass off for this. It's so wrong. It's just so wrong. Like, shut up. Don't worry about yourself. Like, I'm so tired of people going like, oh, well, God, John Travolta, look what he has. Oh, God. It's like, rather than shitting on somebody else's life, why don't you go worry about your own life? Because I'm sure there's plenty to go around there. I love the shape of the driveway, said another commenter. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, they clearly wanted people to get a good look at the whole house while driving up, but didn't want to move the driveway itself. What a stupid comment. Like, who says that? Who cares if John Travolta wants the house the way he wants it? I don't care. Oh, but look at what he's doing. He's polluting. Look at his two jets. Like, who cares? Why don't you congratulate the guy? It's you know, these people hate themselves, you guys, is what it is. They hate themselves. They can't be happy for other people. I don't care about John Travolta's two jets. I hope he has 5. Good for him. Don't care whatsoever. I care about the hypocrisy coming from these people because I guarantee you they pollute. They pollute as well. But the biggest issue by far was the 2 planes. Oh, God forbid. Just by owning 2 jets, his carbon footprint is larger than a small city. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Look at China. China. Look at India. Look at Russia. Why don't you look at all these other people that are polluting, meaning these countries, and go talk about them, not John Travolta's footprint. His lawn looked great, by the way. So these idiots are sitting there dishing out a bunch of hocus pocus FUBU fub that nobody gives a crap about. But you know what? They're heroes, you guys. These people are heroes. They're saving lives over there on Reddit by commenting on John Travolta's house and his swimming pool and his tennis court. What a bunch of losers, man. Really, I mean, honestly, what a bunch of losers. They have nothing better to do. Some people might say the same thing about me. Hey, you got nothing better to do than sit on a freaking YouTube channel and do something. But it's a hobby. I enjoy it. Maybe this is their hobby. Maybe they enjoy shitting on John Travolta's People's Footprint. Hell, I don't know. But hey, you know what? More power to them. But that's the episode for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. It's the holiday season, folks. Make sure you get some merch. Bald Brad mugs, t-shirts, hoodies. We got a book. Got a website. Hit that join tab down here, folks. We're going to have a few different things coming up for 2024. We're going to switch some things up a little bit here. And I will make an announcement before the new year. And maybe we'll do a separate video all by itself regarding announcements, the changes, what we're going to do here, things that we did maybe in 2023, and kind of give you an update on what's been going on here on the Bald Brad Show. And with that being said, again, hit that like and subscribe button. The question of the day is, what's your favorite Christmas movie? Mine, again, is Santa Claus with Tim Allen. And the movie that we spent time as a family around the television was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase. Was it Dennis Quaid or, oh no, Randy Quaid? But anywho, let me know what the Christmas movie was, if you had one that you and your family watched together. And again, your standalone Christmas movie. Would love to hear about it. With that being said, folks, I'll see you tomorrow here